Hello and a very warm welcome to you. I'm Alice Baxter. Now we start with one of the biggest names in technology as it struggles to readjust to huge changes in the industry. The world's top PC maker, that's Hewlett-Packard, reported quarterly results after the close of the US markets on Wednesday, and it said profits plunged some 32% in the 3 months to April compared with the same period last year. Nikem Ivajika reports. Well, Tom Royner is principal analyst at tech consultancy Ovum, and he joins me now. Tom, does this 32% plunge suggest that the decline of PC sales is at the root of all of this?
It's not only the PC sales, but HP's results are a reminder that the restructuring process is not a linear process. And as Beck Midman, HP CEO, has reminded us repeatedly, it might take several years. But if anything, while we have seen revenues declining on a year-on-year basis, the margin improvement in printing and enterprise services definitely is something which has given the markets some hope, and we have seen it in the movement of the stock.
So it's not all bad news. Other elements of the HP brand, you say, are doing okay?
It's not new news. We know it's a long restructuring process. The management has been very open. It will be a long, winded process, even if you see 1 or 2 quarters where we see improvement. And the market is almost jumping to the positives in the margin improvement. But it's a difficult process to move from an infrastructure-led company, which HP is, and similar that to Dell, to move to more services and solution-led company.
Well, let's talk about some different turns of fortune. Obviously, what we've seen here with HP follows that decline in profits that we saw with Dell last week. But interesting, we've just had profits, results rather, out from Lenovo, saying that profits nearly doubled on PC and smartphone sales in China.
You have to look very careful. HP is not just an infrastructure company like Lenovo, so the comparison is slightly difficult. We have seen similar problems of Dell. Dell is trying to move private in another move similar to HP moving away from infrastructure. So while we see companies like Lenovo focusing on infrastructure using scale and other mechanisms, HP is going the other way, trying to move away. We had in the past announcements from the management trying to sell the PC business with a very clear statement. So trying to de-emphasize infrastructure.
Okay, Tom Royner from Ovum, many thanks.
My pleasure.
Now, Disney's Iron Man 3 movie is proving to be a real superhero at the box office. Within a month of its global release, it's raked in more than $1 billion around the world. On its opening weekend in China, it made a record-breaking $65 million and could become the country's highest-grossing film of all time. As Samir Hussain reports, the Chinese market is now a vital part of the business plan for Hollywood studios. Let's stay with China now, because some preliminary economic data out in the last few hours suggests factory activity shrank in May for the first time in 7 months. Well, John Sudworth is in Shanghai for us. And John, the figures will raise concerns that the economic recovery is stagnating. John Sudworth in Shanghai, many thanks. OK, some other news for you now in brief. OK, time now for a quick look to see how markets are doing. And Asian stocks, for the most part, fell on Thursday, weighed down by that contraction in China's manufacturing that John was just talking about. However, in Tokyo at the moment, the Nikkei has rebounded slightly, up 1.6%. However, in China and in Korea, we can say bourses are down. That's the way they look at the moment. Markets also obviously digesting mixed news coming out from the US Federal Reserve. OK, all from me. I'll be back in just a moment to have a look through the papers with Naga.